Take us back to the beginning.
I started as a head golf professional in 1969. I came out of Massachusetts originally, and I'll tell you what, when I went by that sign on the main turnpike that said the way life should be, it is. This is the way life should be. I've been very fortunate to have been associated with this club for, over 50 some odd years.
Yep.
I've been a PGA member for over 50 years. And when I started here, Mark was 17 years old. And I remember at that point in time, they didn't allow juniors to participate in the club championship, which was crazy. We got that rescinded, and he went on at 17 years old to win his first club championship. And how many, Pard, have you won so far?
39, I believe.
39
Yeah.
club championships.
Yeah.
Could be a United States record if he keeps going the way he is.
It's an ACC record.
Huh? And so it's just been a blast for me. I can remember taking him out of school to play in pro-ams on Mondays, and we would win the pro-am. And back then they would put it in the paper, the Portland Press Herald. Wally White was a sports editor, and he used to do a big write-up on our pro-ams, and we had to use a fictitious name on Mark. What was it, JP?
I was youthful Sid Caesar.
Youthful Sid Caesar, so that he wouldn't get in trouble in school. And that continued until he graduated, of course, and we could use his real name playing. But we were fortunate enough to win a lot of pro-ams, and he made me a lot of money, I'll tell you that. But we had a great time. But the beauty of everything is the way this club was back in the late 60s and early 70s and 80s, that we were just a close-knit group of people that had fun, and the members were competitive. We were all the same age. They played in the tournaments together and just enjoyed each other, and we're still continuing that tradition.
Yeah, no, actually my father was the president of the club in 1969 when they hired Pete. And so Pete and I became quick friends, and we've played in the Pro Junior Championship, the Pro Am Championship, and the Pro Senior Championship. And actually one year we almost won the New England Pro Am Championship.
We would have won if I hadn't three-putted the 18th
Well, I
hole.
wasn't going to say that, Pete, but that was another story.
Yeah, just another one.
But I remember the first year that Pete and I, the first year Pete was here, we had Bob Hope came to give a concert at the Augusta Civic Center, and he came out here to hit some golf balls, and they talked him into going out and playing 3 holes. So Pete and I got to play 3 holes with Bob Hope, and I think we got a picture around here somewhere in the clubhouse.
I know. I've got. He actually sent me a nice note. And
He didn't send me one.
Oh, you didn't impress him, huh? Yes, you did impress him because what happened is he invited us to the show, and we went to the show, had front row seats at the Civic Center to watch a show, and he even came out and said that he was fortunate enough to play with Mark Plummer at the Augusta Country Club, and Mark's divots went further than Bob Hope's tee shots. That was his line. But he sent me a nice card saying, what was his famous line that he ended every show with? Thanks for the memory.
Thanks for the memories. Yeah.
That was really pretty special.
Yeah, we've had plenty of them out here.
Yeah.
But over the years, we've had quite a few celebrities come out and play. Willie Nelson came here. I wasn't here for that, but Pete was.
Yeah, that was
he came.
unbelievable.
So we usually, the people that came to the Civic Center to do concerts or whatever, they'd come out here and play. We had some Haystack Calhoun, and some of the big wrestlers came out here to play golf, and it's been pretty entertaining. But we've been fortunate over the years to have just a great membership, very friendly, welcoming membership, and very competitive membership. We've had, I think we've had probably close to 20 Maine Amateur champions come out of Augusta Country Club. And we've always been a very active club as far as tournaments go and socially. It's just a great club. And, you know, I grew up here. I've been here since I was 5 years old. My dad was a member back then, and so I've been here for 65 years, and it's just been a wonderful place to be around and to meet some great people.
And they have just treated me out of this world. I can remember when my son, who was a PGA member out on the West Coast, was getting married in Hawaii. It was in September, and I normally wouldn't be able to take that time off because it was very busy. And they granted me the time off, and they sent myself and all my family out there for nothing. For his.
Well, we'd do anything, get rid of him for a week.
That's what he said.
It was an easy fundraiser.
Yeah, there's one thing out here at this golf club. You can't have a thin skin. If you have a thin skin, you won't last 5 minutes. You have to be able to take it. But I wasn't built that way when I first came here, but I learned from the best right here.
You learn quickly, yeah.
Oh, goodness. Yep.
Show us this picture and tell us about this story.
Oh God, that was
1969, Pard. That was your first club championship.
yeah. And that was Pete's first year here as pro, and I played
Bob Weber.
Bob Weber, who was a regular on my father's foursome, and that was my first of a few. And it was a great foursome my father had. They had the same foursome for like 30 odd years, and Bob Weber was part of that foursome, and his son Bobby ended up going on to win several club championships, and he also won a Maine amateur title, and he's unfortunately was passed away this last year, but it was quite a foursome that they had. I learned my golf, I learned my swearing, I learned my club throwing, I learned just about everything caddying in that foursome back over the years. Matter of fact, I think I enjoyed caddying in that foursome more than I enjoy playing now. It was just, my brother and I used to fight just to see who was going to get the caddy for my father on Saturday mornings because it was such a treat. But yeah.
And even you volunteered to caddy for me at Waterville Country Club.
Oh God, yeah.
In the pro championship.
36 holes, and it was just like it is today, pouring rain, and I'm lugging his big tournament bag with Pete Hatfield written on the side of it. Which he won the tournament, by the way.
Thanks, Bard.
He was the Maine State PGA champion that year.
I only get to say that once in a while. He gets to say things like that all the time.
He was a very good player when he came here. Yeah. I don't know what happened. He was probably the top pro in the state for at least 10 or 15 years.
What happened? Well, your brother Stubb came to me one day and said, the reason you guys are winning a lot of pro-ams is, number one is that Mark can beat all the pros in the state, and number two, you can beat all the amateurs in the state.
It worked out well.
It worked out well. We had fun.
Well, that brings back fond memories.
Yeah. Way back machine.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of years on me to go back.
What would you hope for the next generation of this club?
That they have half as much fun as we've had.
That's right. I think, society's changed quite a bit right now. And it does through the decades. I think, people have different priorities and different outlooks and what they want. So,
yeah.
But, I mean, we were fortunate enough to have everybody about the same age back then.
Yeah.
And we were all friends at that point.
And back then they had a thing called closing time, last call, which I don't know if they have anymore because I'm asleep at 9 o'clock at night. But
Ooh.
I mean, we'd be here till 1 o'clock or whatever. For last call, this place would still have 100 people in it at one. That shows you how times have changed.
My wife used to bartender here, and it was 1 o'clock. Sometimes I would be here eventually. Sometimes but there were times when we would go out and turn the lights on the putting green at midnight and have putting contests.
Yeah, we
The
were
bar was still
real
open.
good putters at 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, at least we thought we were. No, it was great. We had what we called the Italian Open, which was Al Biondi's
Tournament.
brainchild.
Yeah.
And we had that for, probably 20, 25 years, and some of the things that went on during that tournament were incredible.
Were incredible. They commandeered the pro shop. They hired a helicopter coming in and land on the first tee
Yep.
to take Al Biondi up in the helicopter. He was scared to death to fly.
Yeah, you wouldn't even fly in an airplane.
No. And they tied a cement block to him and put him in the helicopter and went out over the lake and did a couple of things out over there and then dropped him down. His wife, Diane, was in on the deal, and she came out dressed in all black lace, holding the last will and testament for him. He dropped out of the plane, fell to the ground, and kissed Mother Earth. Thank God that he was still alive.
Yeah.
They commandeered the pro shop. They took me hostage. They all came in dressed up as
Mafia.
You know,
Yep.
the hats, the whole 9 yards. They even went down to
The
Senator
Senator restaurant.
before the tournament started, and they got in there, and they had real guns in holsters. And they were sitting in the booth, and they were talking about money laundering and prostitution and everything in New York, and people were leaving. They got up and left. So they came out here in one of those old cars,
Yep.
like, you know, in the 30s, drove it up off of 202, drove it up here, came in and took me captive. They put me on the first tee and tied me to a chair. They were going to take merchandise out of the shop. Well, the funny thing was, after the tournament, they brought me into the clubhouse. And there used to be posts out here.
Yep.
And they handcuffed me to a post. And they wouldn't let me go
Behind his back.
behind my back. And they would feed me a beer or a soda or whatever I was drinking. I can't imagine it was a soda.
With
but-
a straw.
With a
'Cause,
straw.
You know, you had to drink it with a straw.
With a straw. And I had told my wife, and I had 2 children at the time, that we were going out to dinner. I said, yeah, you come in here about 4 or 5 o'clock. I'll be done with the tournament, and we'll go out to dinner. So she came in the door. She took one step in
Yep.
and looked and saw me handcuffed to the
Yep.
post.
She didn't need a laxative.
She turned right around and took off. But she knew, because she had been with this club for so long.
Yep,
She knew exactly what it
She'd
was all
bartended
about.
a few Italian Opens, so she knew what the deal was, and she got over it.
Yeah, she got over it. Yeah, 43 years we were
Yeah,
married,
she got
so
over
she
it.
got over it.
Yep. Yeah.
Great times. We just hope the tradition can be, carried on with the younger people of the club, and I'm sure it will be.
And one thing about this club is that a lot of people, for whatever reason, we always had kind of a stigma attached to us. I think as being a little bit uppity or
Yeah.
snotty, the country club, stereotype.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people that have come and ended up joining, and they said, "Oh, this place is great. Boy, if I'd have known it was like this, I'd have joined 10
Yeah,
years ago."
Right, exactly.
So it
Yep.
is a country club, and it is private, but it's very welcoming and just a lot of good, friendly people. Anytime we need work done on the course, they volunteer to go out in the springtime, rake up and clean up, around the course to help the greens crew out. In the fall, same thing. Anytime Chris has got a project that he needs help with, we'll get 25, 30 guys and gals
And gals, yeah.
that come out, and we had George Bass one year, who owned Bass Shoe. He came out, and we were cutting trees and limbs, and he came out and worked for 3 hours out on the back 9 with us, cutting cutting limbs and trees and bushes. And then we came in here, and they had a barrel of beer for us, and it was just great people. Just a great group of people.
And we just hope the younger ones carry the tradition.
I'm sure they will. Like Harrison.
Got it on
And
camera.
Alyssa.
Oh, Mark, do you want to just tell us the quick, story of you and Tiger Woods?
Sure. Yeah, it was back 1995, and the U.S. Amateur was going to be at Newport, Rhode Island, so it doesn't come to New England very often. I had played in it once down at the Country Club in Brookline, back I think in 1982, but anyway, 1995 it was going to be at Newport, Rhode Island, so I thought I might as well. I was 43 years old at the time, so I thought that would be maybe my last chance at trying to qualify for it. So I went through a qualifier down in Wyantanook in Weston, Massachusetts, right in the Berkshires, and went through a qualifying down there. And anyway, I was lucky enough to qualify, so ended up going down to Newport, and it was kind of a funny story. My wife and I went down, and Timmy Stearns, who was a very, very good friend of ours, went down caddied for me. So we got down there, and I didn't pack very much because I thought I'd be down there 2 days and then I'd be coming home. So anyway, the first 2 days I ended up qualifying. So I start out and I win my first match, and then I win my second match, and all of a sudden, now I've run out of clothes. So I had to go into the pro shop the next day and buy another shirt. So then the next day, I made it through 2 more matches, and then the next day I had to buy another shirt. Well, anyway, Saturday morning, I play a match in the morning, and the winner of our match was going to play the winner of Tiger and the guy he was playing, who were playing right behind us. So anyway, Timmy Stearns had to come back to Maine because he'd made a commitment to playing a member guest turn at Brunswick. So Stevie Albison was down there following us around, so he took over the caddying duties. So anyway, we'll get to I think it was the 11th tee, 12th tee, and the guy I'm playing is 4 up on me. So unbeknownst to me, he says to his caddy that, and Stevie Albison overheard him. He says, "Well," he says, "I guess we got Tiger this afternoon." So I didn't hear it, but anyway, I end up winning the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. Well, I ended up playing Tiger in the afternoon, which was a good thing because I didn't have to sleep on it. I didn't think I'd get past the morning round. I didn't think I was going to get past any of the rounds. I kept telling my wife, Allison, I said, "Oh, we got to pack up tonight because we could probably be going home tomorrow." She said, "Oh, no. So we never packed up. So anyway, we played Tiger. In the afternoon, there was about 2,000 people following us around. It was on ESPN. NBC, actually. Johnny Miller was the commentator back then. He wasn't too impressed with my swing. He made a lot of not very complimentary.
May I interject
Yes,
something
you
right
may.
here?
Yes.
I couldn't go down and watch him, so I'm sitting at home watching the telecast. And Miller's got the illustrator going. He's got circles going around all that. And finally he says, "You know something? You really can't give this guy a lesson." And I was very hurt by that. Go ahead, continue your story.
So anyway, I get up on the first tee, and I mean, it was almost like an out-of-body experience. There's 2,000 people around with teeing off, and he gets up, his first tee shot, he hits in the right-hand woods. And I'm thinking to myself, this isn't really going to happen. I'm not going to beat him, am I? So anyway, I took him 18 holes, and he was 1 up going into 18, and I hit a ball over in the
right rough,
Willie Wags on the right, and made a bogey on the 18th hole. He ended up winning, but it was a great experience.
If Mark had won that match, he would have played in the Masters.
Yeah, 2 years previous, the semifinalists got invited to the Masters. But that was a day late and $1 short. But
what an experience!
But it was great, and I said become more famous for a match I lost than anything I ever won, which is fine. It's great. It's a great memory. Yeah.
And also to interject a little bit, Mark and Allison became very good friends with President Bush, to the point where they would have dinner together. He actually went to the Capitol, right?
The Oval Office.
The Oval
for
Office.
W.
And just
My shirt
started
right here.
Yeah,
Presidential seal.
Started relationship with the Bushes, which continued.
Yeah. No, we were very fortunate. We got to know them very well. Stayed at Walker's Point a couple nights. Every time he'd have one of his, he called them name droppers. He'd have Davis Love, Freddie Couples, Phil Mickelson. Every time he'd have them up, he'd give me a call, and I got a great audio. He called my house one morning to see if I could come down and play golf, and I was out shopping or something. Allison just picked the phone up when the answer machine kicked on, and he's on there, and he says, "Hi, this is George Bush, and I was calling to see if Mark could play golf today." And she says, "George, the George Bush?" I actually have the audio if you want it. It's hilarious.
Oops. This is George Bush down at Kennebunkport, and I tried his office. Is he going to be there later?
Well, I can. This is George Bush.
You got it.
Wow.
I need a golf lesson from Mark. He does it every year.
He does?
Yeah.
Actually, he'll be back shortly.
Will you? Can I leave my number?
You sure can. Is this
This is the former president, not the current.
That sounds like you. This is exciting.
This is the old guy.
Yeah. No, this is great.
Okay.
Let me take your number and have him give you a call.
Wonderful. 207
Okay.
967
967
5800.
5800.
And what I wondered if he could possibly do would be to come play golf with us at 1 o'clock at Cape Arundel.
Cape Arundel. I will. He'll be home shortly, and I'll have him give you a call.
His wife?
Yes.
He's a star, that guy.
Yeah, I guess he is. I read about him enough.
Yeah, well, I do too, and we're so proud of him. And each year we have a little game here, and I just thought if he could get away, it'd be fun to see him.
Well, we'll check, and I'll have him give you a call.
Thanks a million.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
He goes on for 2-3 minutes.
She was just unbelievably flattered.
But no, we ended up having a great relationship. We went down, had a dinner one night with them at a restaurant that overlooked Walker's Point, just the four of us. And Allison had MS, so she was in a scooter, and President Bush was in a wheelchair at the time. So we went in through the kitchen because they didn't have access. So going through the kitchen with the President of the United States. We sat at the table, and I'll never forget. He got up to leave, and everybody in the restaurant stood up and clapped when he and Barbara got up and walked out of the restaurant.
He was.
Yeah, I thought it was for me, but Allison told me later.
Maybe it was.
Well, I don't know. But matter of fact, that was the last time that we saw them together. We ended up going to H.W.'s funeral at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., which was quite an honor. We were down Florida at the time and got an invitation. And I said, "We're not going to miss this." So we got on the phone, made some reservations, and flew up. And anybody who was anybody was there. You know, President Trump was there, Peyton Manning, Jack Nicklaus, Andrew Pujols, Freddie Couples. I mean, the list was
on and
on and on and on. Jim Nance. It was a who's who. But great memories, and I really miss him. We had a lot of good times together. I guess that's about.
Yeah, we could sit here for hours and talk about things.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah.